Alright, so oil. So the car is full of oil. Of course, all the oil has sink towards the bottom of the oil pan. So right now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and spin the engine. A few revolutions. No spark plugs or because remember there were no spark plugs in there, and the coils are sitting right there. So right now, no compression is occurring. So I'm gonna go inside the car. I've already pulled the. Oh shoot! I forgot to put it back. Yeah, I've already pulled the injector relay. Just and just a measure of just an error of caution. But I'm gonna go inside. Um, turn it on, foot to the floor, and I'm just gonna let it spin. It's not gonna start, but I'm just gonna let it spin just to get the oil up to the top of the engine so it can hit the lifters, and also at the same time see if I could hear any clattering. So here we go. And it also helps if you put in the crank position sensor. Really helps if you put the crank sensor in. Good thing I didn't. Good thing I didn't start. Good thing I didn't start it. Alright, so I couldn't find the crank sensor that I purchased, but I did have the OEM, but I don't have the bolt. So it's going to get plugged in. It's going to get plugged in as it is, just so I could confirm if the problem has been fixed. And I'm going to go ahead and take my scan tool, scan it, and see if the computer could correlate that. No, come on. Yeah, so, no, screw it. I'm not going to use that, because I'm about to run out of time. It's about to rain. Oh, keys inside. So right now, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the engine over, just to get oil circulating, and see if I can hear like any odd noise. So of course, I am recording, so I'm gonna come back in, review that, and if there are no odd noise, no if there are no abnormalities, I'll do the compressor test. Again, I'm gonna go ahead and oh boy. Anyways, here comes the rain. Alright, double check. Okay, listen to the phone. I didn't hear anything odd. We didn't hear anything odd, so I'm gonna go ahead and start the compression test now. Again, since it is raining, and I don't know if the wind's gonna start blowing in the wrong direction, so I'm gonna go ahead and just do all four, starting with cylinder one. And from what I recall, good compression on this engine is 139 psi. So starting with cylinder number one. Just remember, just screw it on until it gets nice and tight. Alright. And ooh, absolutely perfect. Couldn't place this better myself. Alright, let me zoom in so you guys can go ahead and see where we're at. So again, cylinder one. No, it's not that. I'm doing something. No. Did it even do anything? That was cylinder one. Alright, cylinder two. Alright, cylinder two. Now, when you look at the numbers from cylinder 1 and cylinder 2, one will suggest that the engine is not giving compression at all. But given the fact that I had two feedbacks from people who use this exact tool that told me that it did not work for them, I had a feeling that it may not work for me. So I went ahead and put that off to the side, went to Harbor Freight, and got another one. So you got up to 30. Let me see. Alright, I did a little movement. And it's holding. Let's see. Alright, I'm gonna try this again, but with my foot off the with my foot off the throttle. See what happens. Alright, so this one's a little higher. At least it's holding. So that's cylinder one. Alright. Okay, I'm gonna try cylinder two. So you can see from the Harbor Freight tool, it did give me a better number, but according to what the service manual says, when you do a good compression test, that it requires, like, for a good compression to be at 139 foot-pounds, and as you can see, it's just above 30. So theoretically, by the book, the engine is completely done. It is clapped. I did test cylinder 3, and I believe I test cylinder 4. They both show the same thing, with cylinder 4 showing a higher compression rate, something like around 60. But again, I just chalk it up with me not knowing how to use the tool properly. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just move along and install the coils and spark plugs. All right, to torque this down, obviously, depending upon the socket that you have, you may or may not be able to torque it, but lucky enough, I do have like an average size. What size is this? An average size 19, and on the top, the torque spec is, oops, sorry. All right, on the top, torque spec is 70, which I forgot to set. Let me set it real quick. And 70. Yeah, so torque spec for the top bolt is 70, but if you're unable to get, if you're unable to get a torque wrench onto it, just get it tight as you can. All right, click, click, click. All right, that's set. And then the bottom bolt is 64. So let me change the socket head. Let's see. Should be here. What is this? Oh, let you look at that. I am extremely lucky. Alright. Alright, so 3/17 is on the bottom. Set it for 64 foot-pounds. Sorry. And there we go. It's set on focus. As you can see, 64. Unfortunately, I do not have a lift, so you just got to take my word for it. There. First click. Second click, and the third click is going to be towards the back, and it's going to require me reaching into a very blind spot because it's under, I'm going to reach into a blind spot because the bolt is, let's So that's the location of the first one. That's the second one. And the last one is like right there towards that large opening towards the back. Well, I don't know if you see it. It's that. It's the control line. That's the large right in there. And that's where the third one is. And of course I can't. I will not be able to get to it. But this will require me to feel around into the darkness. And I'm gonna have to ask you to do me one favor and hold the light for me, so I could find my hole. That didn't sound good. Haha, I found it. Alright, found it. Yeah, too bad. Too bad. This tripod is way too tall. But I'm sure. Hold on. I think I might be able to do this. 1 second. That last cut, like time to go designing, time to go on a hunt. I turned around, like literally from here. I turned around, I looked down. I was gonna start like moving stuff out of the way, and sure enough, the crank sensor. I found the crank sensor, and I found the bolt. So, whatever. I found it. Fortunately, I did find it. So right now, what's on it is the OEM. I'm gonna leave the OEM on there just to see when I do start the vehicle if the check engine light is present, and if the sensor gives me a code. Because if it gives me a code, then without a doubt, I'll go ahead and just change it for the one that I have. If it doesn't give me a code, then at least I have one on standby, just in case. And I will go ahead and try to return it, but it has been, I believe it's more than 3 months since I bought it. And I'm not gonna go ahead and force their hands and try to make me happy and returning it. So I'm just gonna hang on to it. I know some of you will say just, nah, don't be like that. Just go ahead and return it. Me, I'll just say, I have it just in case. Even though I highly doubt that the crank sensor, I highly doubt that a lot of, let me put you on the stand. I highly doubt that a lot of Toyota OEM sensors go bad this easily. Because honestly, not a lot of them do go bad. And in fact, the 4Runner, the 4Runner, all the sensors on it, still OEM. It's still OEM. Cam sensor still there, crank sensor still there, the cooling temperature sensor still there, the knock sensors are still there. Like, everything is still OEM. So if the sensors ain't broke, I'm not gonna fit. I'm not even gonna bother to replace it. All right. And time to. Wow. This. Sorry. Wow. This is like such an awkward angle. Oops. Switch directions. Yeah, so if there is a torque spec for this, I'm not sure, but if you're interested in what the torque spec is, just give it all the German gluten tight, call it a day. Just call it a day. Anyways, crank sensor is in position and it's being held, and the crank sensor is OEM. Just want to go ahead and just make that note. Crank sensor is OEM. Both the cam sensors are Duralast, and that one's easy to. That one's way more easier for me to access and change. So essentially, I'm just going back to the beginning of how initially I was trying to solve the stalling issue, was to see if changing the sensors improved it. Alright. Well, I got the email that I was waiting for. Essentially, the dealership let me know that the part is here, and do want to make sure that what I'm getting is accurate. As long as it's easy. I do want to make sure what I'm getting is accurate and it's going to fit. So you could literally see how flat and squash the O-ring is, and you kind of see like all the oil that's sitting right on the edge. That's mean this thing is not really doing this job. It's really not doing this job. And given the fact that I'm seeing oil on the top, means that there is oil pressure. I mean, there is adequate oil pressure going up there. Like adequate oil pressure. So like literally, as you see, it is flat. And you saw how easily I was able to get it out. So I'm about to head there now to go see if the one I ordered is the correct one, because I am running out of time. I really need to get this car running by the end of the week because reasons. And I could literally feel this thing is like super rigid. Yeah, this thing's like super rigid. So, anyways, about to head there now. Now, yes, I am taking this with me. I'm taking it with me so I can go ahead and compare the size and see if it fits. Catch you at the dealer. So, once again, bell lady. Well, making her rounds. And once again, for for those who don't know, this right here is the part number for this. And given the fact that this phone is on a tripod, you can really see it better. But like literally how flat the O-ring has become. And like literally, of course this is just for me just wiping previously, but you can see there's like oil that went past this O-ring towards the top. And this is not from me, this is not for me from having the car ran. This is just me engaging the starter. Just the starter alone. And oil has already went past this. I mean, it has already went past the O-ring. And I do recall cleaning this before I putting it back in. I don't remember if I recorded it, but I do remember just wiping it off just a little bit before putting it back in. And a lot of that, like right now, I'm just trying my best to nip every single possible oil leak this car might have, because there is a bigger oil leak that I've saw, and it was like right under the airbox, and like there's like a large pool of oil pulling right on top of the transmission. I did try to identify what the fluid was, but I'm assuming that it's been there for a while, so I have no idea what the origins of that fluid came from. But without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my little pick. I have a little pick here, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to. Oh man! Yeah, I just noticed the airbox is not. I literally just noticed that the airbox is not hooked in all the way. Like, you see that white right there? Yeah, you're not supposed to see that. Yeah, your eyes are not fooling you. That little plastic piece, yeah, it does not belong to the car. It was just a temporary fix just so I could get the car started. And it's an attempt to see if I can make a resonator, a temporary one, just to get the car running until I found the original, which I did a few days later. But yeah, I went ahead and printed that myself, just temporarily. I did not get the, like, you're not gonna find this on design anywhere. Like, this is an original. I just made it just by looking at the resonator for a hybrid. That's what I took inspiration from, and that's what I did. It held it. I mean, it fits. It worked. I had no issues. So, but it didn't stay. Because soon, like a few days later, I found the original, and I went ahead and replaced it. So yeah, that is temporary. Because before the Corolla, I had a 2000 Accord, and I knew for a while that the engine was leaking oil from the rear main seal. And at the time, I knew next to nothing about cars. So I'm like literally trying like additives, you know, like snake oils to try to like mitigate the leak. But eventually, I said, screw it. I'll just leave it as it is. I always keep like oil in the car. And then one day, I had looked. One day I had looked on while I was about to leave. I forgot where I was going. I literally forgot where I was going. But when I went out to the car, and I just so happened to look underneath, and I noticed like a very large black spot. And you may think to yourself, "Oh, I wouldn't bet you that's an animal." That's what I thought so too. I'm like, let me just peek underneath to make sure that it's not an animal. It's not something that is major importance. Yikes. That was from a Highlander. So let me just make sure that, you know, let me go ahead and see what it is. And alright. Let me see. I really don't remember exactly because it was that long ago. But I know first thing that came to mind is check the oil level. Popped the hood, took the dipstick out. Bone dry. Well, not really bone dry, but you know, like it was like there was nothing on the stick. So lucky enough for me, I had some oil in the trunk. I put some in there. All right, cool. Go ahead and see if I can get me some oil. So took the car, went over to the car. I believe I took it out, and I looked underneath, and that's when I saw like the largest oil spot that the car ever had. And I recall going to Walmart to get some oil, put some oil in, came back home, and I believe the oil was still, piston oil. And I don't remember exactly what I did, but I know one thing for sure. I had to take it to some. I went in here. I took the car, I took the 5-gallon jug, filled it up with oil, and I went ahead and took the car to a shop that's right off of 36th Street and 22nd Ave. And when I pulled in, that's why I noticed that, you know, the engine was smoking. I mean, there was smoke billowing out from underneath. So I asked them, "Hey, can you take a look at it?" They're like, yeah, sure, we'll take a look at it. So they looked at it, and it's like, "Hey, you have oil leaking from the VTEC solenoid, so you're gonna need to get a VTEC gasket." I'm like, all right, cool. So took the car home, and I went ahead and I ordered a VTEC gasket. I don't know if I got it from the dealer, from the store, or from online. I really don't remember. It was that long ago. It really was that long ago. Ordered it. I waited for it to come in, and when it got in, yeah, like literally a piece of rubber just broke off. That was interesting. Anyways, like literally as soon as I got in, I think that was like the next morning. I put oil in it, and I just went straight to them. And when they pulled up, because I believe it was about like a week later, they saw like smoke coming from the car. They're like, "Yo, your shit's on fire." I'm like, "No, it's not on fire." It's the oil leak. Remember? You're like, oh yeah. I forgot about the oil leak. So the guy went ahead and changed the gasket for me. And that pretty much fixed it. And it wasn't until that I worked at a parts, now I'm working at a parts store. That's when I really became aware that the VTEC gaskets on Hondas are like its Achilles heel. Don't get me wrong, Hondas still make good engines. Most of the time. They do make good engines. But if you want to cripple a Honda, if you really want to cripple a Honda, the only thing you gotta do is just mess with the VTEC gasket. Mess with that, that's it. Honda's pissing oil. I mean, it's pissing oil. So it's either that or do something to disable the VTEC. If you disable the VTEC, dog water. Like literally, like it will be like performance, none. Absolutely none. As everyone knows, for a Honda, the moment it reaches by like, depending upon the engine and depending upon the tuner, because I know like by default VTEC kicks in around like either between 3,500 to 4,500 RPM. VTEC kicks in, boom, instant power. And if you really want power, all Honda owners know about the turbo button. I mean, everyone knows about the turbo button. You want to know what the turbo button is? I'm gonna tell you the secret right now. It's the AC. AC? Yeah, it's the AC. Every Honda owner will tell you for sure. You turn off the AC, you're getting dog walk. I mean, dog walk. All you gotta do is just say, you're like, yo, pull up at a red light. Honda takes off, blazing down the street. That engine is screaming. Transmission is shifting. Like literally. I mean, like you in a car, gripping the steering wheel, foot to the floor, just zipping by. And like, hey, run it back. I forgot to turn on my turbo. So, all right, cool. You run it back. You activate the turbo function of the car. You floor it. Tires chirping. You got smoke coming from the tires. And you just straight flying. I mean, just straight flying down the line. Like, you right here feeling like, like, yo, I am the fastest dude on the road. With a Honda that does 0 to 60 in 10 seconds. But even though like 0 to 60 in 10 seconds, like, yo, that's one fast car. But once that turbo button is off, you shaving off by like half a second. So you really gotta make sure that you make sure that all that power you reel that power in, because like Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility, and that is a lot of power. I'll tell you that, a lot of power. Yeah, I have forgotten to tighten that. Let's see, is this loose? Nope, it's not loose. Yeah, so you can imagine that. Alright, and then you're going to hear a click. There we go. A lot of power. So, how's your day been doing? I hope you're having a good day. Guess I know I am. If you ask me, I'm nervous as hell. Because after all the work that I've done to the car, I don't want to start it. I really don't want to start it. Like, literally, my nerves are like getting to me. Alright, let me go ahead. Oh yeah, zoom out. Zoom in. Yeah, I need to move this clamp back to its home. Nope, it's not home. That's not where it's supposed to be. Gotta remember, when you're dealing with clamps, try best to put it back, especially those spring clamps. Try best to put it back to exactly how it sits for maximum clamping force. That's gonna be like really important. Unless you have the worm gear clamps, then that's a different story. But for spring clamps, try your best to put it back exactly how you found it. Alright, you're gripping. So that's a good thing. Now, time for the good stuff. Spark plugs. Now, obviously when it comes to spark plugs, your preference is what you want. Like when it comes to like preference of spark plugs, I'm sure like a lot of people say like, oh, I prefer Autolite, or I prefer Champions, or NGKs, or Delcos, or Bosch. You know, whatever plug that you want is entirely up to you. But for me, I will always try to stick with just like the original. In this case, for Toyotas, is Denso's, and I think this car calls for iridium, and this is the part number for the Denso's that I'm getting. I mean, the Denso's I'm putting in. I did get this locally. Yes, I am aware that I did pay a little bit too much for these, but it's plugs. It's plugs, so I'm just gonna bite the bullet and just buy it. And as always, well, not really as always, but rule of thumb: make sure you screw it in manually. Do not use any tools. No power tools whatsoever. Please don't. It is ill-advised that you use power tools. And if you're wondering, yes, these do have a torque spec. Where's the box? You see? Oh, there it is. These do have a torque spec. You gotta go by the torque spec that Denso has for the spark plugs. And if you're wondering, they say there are instructions on how to do it correctly. If you're interested, here's a QR code. Free scan on me. There you go. Perfect. That's enough. Anyways, let me get the torque spec for the plugs. One moment. Alright. After looking, the torque spec is 13 foot-pounds. It's 13 foot-pounds for the plugs. Obviously, do not over torque them. If you do over torque them, you're gonna have serious problems. So last thing you want to do is break the spark plug on the cylinder head. And if you do break the spark plugs on the cylinder head, oh boy, you're looking for a lovely nice time of taking all of that apart. I mean, like literally all of this apart. Can you imagine? This gotta go. All of this needs to leave. This whole drive system, the whole drive belt system gotta go. Timing cover gotta come off. The subhead has to come off, and the actual head has to come out, along with the exhaust manifold and the intake manifold, just to rescue a spark plug that you've over tightened and pretty much just snapped it in its home. So yeah, it's not that serious. Boom, torqued. One down, 3 more to go. And to remember, don't, if you want to go ahead and put the plugs in, don't just drop it in there. Put it in there like very gently, or just get yourself a magnetic tool that's gonna hold your spark plug very snugly in place. Like if it was any spark plug tool, I'll tell you just get the magnetic one. Nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong having the one with the O-ring in it. However, with past experience, because I have one with an O-ring, and depending upon the quality of the tool, the O-ring will get stuck on the head, like somewhere along here, and it's gonna require you to like put it in manually with the tool, and then with a socket that will fit it, then you go ahead and torque it down all the way. So yeah, see, magnetic, doesn't shake, and for this it is a 5/8. But say if you're not fortunate enough to have a spark plug tool, you can use 5/8 for this car. But if you're not fortunate enough to have a split part tool, well, if you're unfortunate enough, or you cannot afford to get a spark plug tool, or you don't want to pay for a spark plug tool, you can use a deep 16, and it fits in quite well. So you use the 16. Just make sure it's deep, because you do want to make sure that you want the socket head, the wrench head to fit into the hole. If you go for a shallow 16, it's not going to work. So just make sure if you have a deep 16, you're Gucci. Remember, don't jam it in there. Put it in nice. Oh crap! I just realized what I was about to say. I don't care. I'm going with it. I'm going with it. Don't jam it in there. Just put it in nice and easy. All right, just nice and easy. You don't need to be rough. Like, you can tease it if you want, but just put it in nice and easy. Don't jam it in there. Once you feel like it's home, just give it a twist. Yeah, I know how bad that sounds. I really know how bad. I know for sure how bad that sounds. I'm not taking that back. Oop. And that's what it's like to be around me. I tend to word vomit a lot. I mean, a lot. Now for ignition coils, when I was looking up for the torque spec for the for a spark plug, torque spec for this is 9 foot-pounds, which honestly means not a lot. It really doesn't need a lot. Now, there is another question. If you want to know, do I need to put any form of lubrication on the I'm already forgetting what it is called. Do you need to put any lubrication on the ignition coils or on the spark plug boots? Yes and no, you don't need to. But if you do want to make sure that the spark plug does have the best opportunity and the best condition to ensure that it has continuous spark when it's needed, go ahead and put just like a little bit of silicone grease in here, or electrical grease, just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit on here, and that should be able to give it like a very, I'll give it like a very tight seal. Now obviously not every single mechanic will agree to that. A lot of them will say you don't need it. You could just put it in dry or naked and it'll do just fine. But again, it's your preference. Now why I would say go ahead and put just a little bit in here, just to ensure that this doesn't get stuck. I'm sure there are some vehicles which are notorious for having stuck boots. And for that, I'll say go ahead, just put like a little bit of grease in there, just to ensure that the boot does not get stuck on the plug. As soon as I can find my grease. So, as you can see, not a lot, just some. Come on, focus. Just some of it. And if you're wondering if I know which one is which, I don't remember. I really don't remember which one is which. That's how long this car has been out of service. I don't remember which one is which. Could have marked it, but it's no big deal. Again, not too much. I could go ahead and torque the spec, but it doesn't require a lot of torque, so I'm just going to go ahead and just tighten it down until it's like nice and tight. And the job of it is to literally keep the boots. The job is to keep the coils attached to the engine block, which is important. And I'm sure there are some vehicles that will have no problem launching coils into the air. Because everyone knows, which I found out recently. Well, recently for me, like a couple of years ago, that the Ford Triton, the 5.4s, are notorious for launching spark plugs. Not sure why. Well, at the same time, I do know that a lot of parts stores will have stuff for the Ford Tritons because of their issue of launching plugs, which is rather odd. Yep. Ah, the school bus. I guess somebody is learning about their new route. Yeah, at the time of this recording, it's July. But by the time this comes out, and by the time this does come out, it's going to be in August. So, yeah. Yeah, like that it literally will go ahead and show you like how long it takes for me to do this, and pretty much will show how long it takes for me to edit this. Because right now, I don't even know what part I'm on. I don't know what part I'm on. I'm already, alright. Like, there's already a part 1, a part 2, a part 3, and there's a part 4. I don't know. I don't even know there will be a part 5. Hopefully there won't be a part 5. Oh, here it is. The school bus. Transportation, primary form of transportation for a lot of children in elementary, middle, and high school. Me, I've never had that. I never had that privilege. You wanna know why? Because I lived within 2 miles of all my schools, and I never qualified. I never qualified for the bus. I never did. And then, let me see. Are you open? No, you're not open. Where's the one that's open? Yeah, alright, I'll find the one that's open. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and just pour this in there. I know for sure the cooling system is not completely empty. For sure it's not, because of the elevation of the water pump, and there is also the thermostat that's holding back a lot of coolant. So if there's any coolant that did come out, it would have been a result of gravity pushing down, like, you know, basically just all the weight of it just pushing down on it. Because that is the upper hose, and the bottom hose is down there with the thermostat. So I know for sure the cooling system is not completely empty. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill this up. Normally I would say fill it up to the F, but since I know like radiator is not full, I'm gonna slightly overfill it and just have the car pull whatever it needs into the cooling system. And I'm gonna air pour it. Yeah, what you looking at? no mess. Alright, so right now where it's at is, right now it's at the full mark. So again, I'm going to overfill it because I'm just going to let the car take what it needs. Obviously don't do what I did. Like, literally don't do it, because overfilling this is bad. You can go away with overfilling the radiator because it, like, the excess is gonna go into here, but try not to overfill this. If you do overfill this, is there is a relief valve in here. Not sure how well you can see, because like somewhere in the cap there is a relief valve, and there is the relief hole. That's where coolant's going to spit out of if it's overfilled. Again, doing it because it's not empty, not completely empty, but I'm just going to let the radiator take what it needs. Alright, so let me see, do I need anything else? No, nothing else really. This car is basically complete. So now I just gotta go into the house and get the keys. Key. So I can go ahead and start it. And also very important, I gotta make sure I put the relay back in. There. It is done. Let me just make sure that nothing is missing. Make sure nothing else is missing. Yeah. Very make sure. Do want to make sure before you verify everything, make sure that nothing is missing. Looking into this, there's nothing in here that is missing from this. There's no extra bolts. Again, this extra bolt was from the valve, not from the valve cover. This extra bolt was from the timing cover, which I thought I lost it. I misplaced it, but I didn't. But I found it. I'm not going to take it out, so I'm just going to leave this. I'm just going to have this just in case. That's it. Those two bolts were from those two screws, and this one came from the splash shield area. Let me see. Anything else? Anything else really? Oh, yeah. It's pretty much done, except for that motor mount. Well, you can see that motor mount, I did loosen the bolt on it to keep me slack, but I'm gonna go ahead and just tighten it down now. But other than that, hell no, you're not a 21. Yeah, you're not 21, you're 19. Oh, you're not. Oh, okay. So you're 17. Oh, that's a bit that one. Let me go to the other side where it's better for me. There we go. I'm sure there's a torque spec for it, but I'm just going to leave it at good and tight. Yeah. Yeah, let me go get the key and dump some footage.